Everyone has their biases in financial services. One of mine are the deceptive tactics that asset managers and portfolio managers use when they make the case for their investment strategy. One of my favorite examples is risk-adjusted returns. I used to jokingly say, try going to the supermarket and using those risk-adjusted returns. Or, based on your choice of portfolio manager, it looks like you're going to have a risk-adjusted retirement. It was just nonsense. Usually, portfolio managers only use this when they're underperforming. I've always thought of it as such a deceptive ploy when discussing an investment product or portfolio. Consider the Sharpe ratio. In my experience, most professionals using this metric don't even understand what it's calculating. They're just using it to justify what are most likely poor investment decisions. Frankly, the Sorrentino ratio is what real professionals should use. And as a hint, if you don't know why, ask yourself if a client has ever fired an advisor because they had too much upside volatility in their portfolio. As you can tell, I've been absolute in my resolve on this for decades, to the point of arrogance. Frankly, I've been insufferable about it. But here's the thing, I was wrong. A client who's also become a great friend recently introduced me to a framework called knowers versus learners. The framework is as simple as it sounds. A learner is someone who's always seeking to learn more, understanding that they can't possibly know everything. A knower is someone who knows everything and is not open to the opinions of others. In my coaching business, I used to call these folks uncoachable, but it goes well beyond that. In my experience, the most successful professionals are learners. Now, there are knowers who build very successful careers and businesses. But the question is, what could their business have been if they had only taken the approach of a learner? Last year, I finally got around to reading The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. The first chapter, entitled No One's Crazy, should be mandatory reading for anybody managing money for other people. Here is a great quote. What seems crazy to you might make sense to me. Your personal experiences with money may make up 0.00001% of what's happened in the world, but maybe 80% of how you think the world works. So equally smart people can disagree about how and why recessions happen, how you should invest your money, what you should prioritize, how much risk you should take on, and so on. I had approached portfolio construction with my worldview exclusively. I like to think that I'm a learner, but clearly I have not been in this area. The investors and portfolio managers who worry about quarterly returns and year-over-year performance might find utility in risk-adjusted returns. That's the game that they are playing. And just because I didn't see real benefit in it does not mean that it's not there for someone else. Here are the three key takeaways. There may be a place for risk-adjusted returns. It just depends on the game that you are playing. In investing, everyone is playing a different game. It's important to know what game that is. And lastly, always be a learner. Thanks for tuning in to this Saturday Note.